Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is a very important video that I think is going to really open a lot for you right now in your life. So especially if you are coming into this video and you've got this pure OCD thing, right? Man, I've got some stuff for you because this has been my life since probably 2000. It really hit 2009, 2010, right? But a lot of this stuff was building up before. So I've got a lot of experience. And more than that, I've got a lot of experience with what's worked for me. I know a lot of what doesn't work, and that's what's gotten me to the point to know what has worked. And that's what I'm going to share with you because with this condition, a lot of times the people that are helping out there don't even know, and they truly can't help you. You can only help people out of what you know, right? For you personally. And so a lot of these people that mean well don't actually know how to help because they don't know what it actually is. Okay. And yeah, I'm speaking about a mainstream therapy perspective. Okay. A lot of benefit can come out of that, but a lot of times a lot of frustration can come out of that too for the person with this condition. Okay. So Puro. All right. Got to start this off by saying, yeah, it's purely obsessions, but it's not. Okay, sort of a name that is inaccurate by definition, just by in the name itself. Okay, so right, OCD, we got the obsessional thought, we have the compulsive behavior. Puro, right? The idea is there's an obsessive thought that just keeps coming and coming and coming, but there's no compulsive nature to it, and that's what we're going to talk about. There sure is, and I want to back up a little bit here and just say that the traditional perspective, I have not been to traditional therapy. My wife is a mental health therapist. I can understand and learn things from that field. But I have not been through mental health therapy. I'm only talking on experience of others I've talked to and learning about this field. Comes to Puro, right? A lot of the approach is ERP, right? ERP, and ERP is done on your fear. So if your obsession is Puro is manifesting as harming someone, right? Or you feel that your sexuality is being misconstrued. You feel like you're having thoughts about being gay, or thoughts about being straight, or about being trans, or being a pedophile, being this, that. Um, Images about hurting someone close to you, right? Uh, Thoughts and images about hitting someone on the road. We know this. You guys know this, okay? I don't want to keep going. Whatever, okay? You got this fear, you got these sessions that drive you insane. The approach is to do ERP, exposure response prevention, on these fears, okay? So it's not uncommon for someone to do ERP on, like, watching gay porn, or uh, looking at the violent images, or holding a knife, or doing all these different things. That's not my world. I don't do that. I didn't do that for myself. If you did it for yourself and it works, great. I'm going to share my experience and why I feel you don't have to go into that. So here we go. OCD, these pure OCD thoughts, obsessive thoughts, these what I just explained, what you're experiencing, are coming from something else. They're a symptom. So with symptoms, there's usually a earlier cause, right? There's something that is preceding, leading up to that. You sprain an ankle. The symptom is inflammation, pain, swelling. You have an infection. Maybe the symptom is a fever. You get it, right? So my brain thinks, well, what? Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. A lot of times people work on these, and I've know some people, heard of these people who keep doing ERP on their Puro OCD fears, but it's never going anywhere. I mean, there's momentary relief, but it keeps popping up, right? So what's going on here? What is being expressed by the body? That's really what we're talking about. Is there's mental, emotional, physical. The body expresses, and then we want to understand, excuse me, what that's coming from. And so, okay, get my thoughts here. What's going on? And this is so sneaky. And this happens with people who are not even expressing, we would call this Puro, right? This is what's going on is anxiety. At the root of OCD is anxiety. You don't do the compulsion, or what we're going to get to next, if you avoid doing certain behaviors, what happens? You feel anxiety. At the core, at the root, it's anxiety. So a lot of what we're going to work on is something you'd work on. We're just going to treat the anxiety, right? We're going to correct the anxiety. And anxiety is based on fears. So there's fearful beliefs, there's thought patterns, there's early childhood experiences, there's habitual thinking patterns, right? Stories we tell ourselves, right, in our mind, they just run, that keep us in this box of fear. And in that box of fear are emotions that get pushed down. And with that, anxiety is avoidance. Okay, and everybody has this. Think about someone who, most teenage boys are guys right now, 20s, 30s. What are the common fears, right? Talking to a girl, maybe asking a girl on a date. These normal fears that everybody goes through. This is sort of this gets blown up with OCD. It's at the root, because at the root of anxiety is, and which leads into this, is avoidance. And you see this with Puro, okay? With regular OCD, right, there's the fear, then there's the impulsive nature, wash the hands, flick the lights, the stoves, all these different things to try to mitigate and eliminate the anxiety. With the Puro people, we have more of a creative energy inside of us, and we resist behaviors that bring up anxiety because these fears we have. So it's not just obsessions. You've got habitual patterns of avoidance. It's not that you're doing certain things, you're actually avoiding doing certain things. You're doing other things. And so here's a big one. Overthinking. Overthinking, we could call it rumination. Do you know this? If you're watching this video and you are resonating, you know what I'm talking about. Overthinking and rumination. Why? Why do we do it? It's a strategy, right? It's a coping mechanism. We learn to deal with anxiety by overthinking, by trying to control it. We're trying to protect ourselves. We're trying to keep that fear from coming true. Okay? I experienced this so much in my life, and I still uncover this pattern going on. I uncovered this recently about these YouTube videos I'm making, and how this perfectionism, this over control, this overthinking that I've been putting into my YouTube videos, and me trying to understand, why am I having this experience around this video? It's the fear of what you may think about me. What my content comes across to you as, and you reflect it back, and what that stirs up inside of me, about not being good enough, maybe being rejected, being abandoned, just not getting anything out of what I want. And so this fear makes me be obsessively obsessive about what I'm doing. And it all is about reaching a feeling of certainty. That's what overthinking is trying to do. It's trying to reach a feeling of certainty inside of you to keep this fear from happening. So I want to go into now, hold that for a second, into the role of the subconscious. You've got this conscious thinking brain, right, where we entertain thoughts. That's where the overthinking happens. And below the surface, which if you remember the iceberg, you're right, a little bit of that's our brain, our thinking brain, but most of our brain is actually contained in this bottom 3/4 of like our would be our consider our subconscious or unconscious brain. And it runs all of our automatic processes, breathing, heart rate, right? Thoughts, emotions come from this place. So the subconscious, now I'm trying to connect where I was going with all this. But the subconscious, yeah, so the subconscious in one sense is a goal-seeking mechanism or machine. And I got this from the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Talks a lot about this. This is sort of like if you're into like the law of affirmation, the Neville Goddard space, they're big on this and how the subconscious works for you or against you, but it depends on how what you feed it. But that community is big on using your subconscious to get what you want in life, to reshape and recreate your reality. And that's essentially what we're doing. That's what I want to talk about. But in our case, our subconscious is actually sort of backfiring on us because it's being used by this creative energy inside of us that's being pushed down. So, and if you see your first introduction to the subconscious, then this may not make as much sense. You may have to go get some other information, maybe from my videos or elsewhere. But you know, in that creative energy inside of you, and if you have Puro, maybe you have like an ADHD sort of personality, or just a very energetic, or maybe you realize when you're a child you're more energetic and more fun, imaginative, creative, right? This is what I'm talking about. You may still have a lot of that. You still have a lot of in you. Maybe it's being suppressed, but if you go back to when you're a child, you maybe had a lot of this, right? And maybe now you lost it, but didn't lose it, but it's being suppressed. This is part of your natural personality, and it wants to go do things, right? It's got a lot of things it wants to do. You're pushing it down, you're suppressing it. That energy is going to express itself through overthinking, okay? And as this builds up, it's going to express itself through intrusive, irrational thoughts. This is where Puro comes, in my opinion, my best estimation so far in my life of dealing with this thing. This is what happens. This is where it comes from. This energy is expressing itself through your intrusive, irrational thoughts. So back to the beginning of this video, it's not about the freaking irrational, intrusive thoughts. So why do ERP on it? Because if it's coming from something deeper, that's just going to continue to express it. This energy is not going, it's not being expressed in the way, in its true kind of natural form. It wants to express itself. It's there to drive you to behavior, to take action. But if that's being blocked and shunted, that energy is going to keep on driving itself into your consciousness, into your brain, and it's going to keep expressing itself through these crazy thoughts. Has nothing to do with you, except wake you up to this. And that's what it did for me. It woke me up. It drove me to the point to find these answers, to take action in my life, to change how I'm living my life, to stop avoiding anxiety, but start doing exposure response actions on these deeper core fears. And here's now we're getting to the deeper part of this, is that below the intrusive irrational thoughts, harm, sexual, false memories, whatever, beneath it are deeper fears. These are the ones you want to do ERP on. These ones you want to do ERP on because they're creating this. So do it on here. when you take action in your life, maybe it's a social thing. You have social anxiety, okay? Going to social events, talking to girls, talking in public, talking on social media, expressing yourself. That's going to bring up a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear in some of you people. It does for me. It's been a big one for me. Why do you think I'm doing these YouTube videos? It's a perfect thing for me to share, express myself, and put myself out there in this format. It brings up anxiety for me. And that's why it's good for me. It lets this energy and emotion that's being pushed down come up and allow your body to feel it and let it dissipate, and you feel lighter. For some of you, this is around sex, your sexuality, things maybe you're avoiding doing, you're avoiding thinking about. This could be around, how you treat people, as far as you can't say no to people. You can't set boundaries with people. You apologize for yourself all the time. All these are behaviors, they're avoidance to avoid the emotions, the anxiety, the fear that comes up. You have to uncover these deeper fears within you and then start taking some action and start practicing bringing up this emotion, this energy. Now, that was deep. That's at the core. And this is what I've done. This is totally what I've done. And man, I've had a totally different experience with these intrusive rational thoughts going away, okay, from this. And just a total change in my whole thought space up here, where I can daydream, fantasize, create, imagine so many things in my mind, where before my headspace was a scary place because I didn't have any control, because the energy was just going all. I was afraid of my own mind. And I want to get you to a place, if you're experiencing that, where you can have that freedom again. Because ultimately, going back to like this this fella Neville Goddard, who you can look that up on YouTube here if you want to, but back in the 50s, 60s, somewhere in that time period, was big on this manifestation, sort of law of affirmation, creating your own reality. That's what your subconscious can do for you. Your subconscious has the ability, because if your subconscious can create this creativeness inside of you, and especially with your personality that I know you have because you're having these symptoms, if it can create this in your mind, create a reality like this, what can you create when you're intentional about what you want? And so that is essentially what this is. It's clearing out the limitedness of what you're living in right now and the avoidance, and moving this energy up and out, so you can then start to think, what do I want in life? Because most of the time, these deeper core fears, not these OCD fears, these deeper core fears are connected to your purpose in life. Ooh, your purpose. Okay. So a lot of times we fear being great. We fear what we can become. A lot of people who have fears of public speaking are fearing that because they actually would be a really good speaker. The energy inside of them, their personality wants to do that. They want to be romantic. They want to be expressive with people. They want to, whatever it is, they have this inside of them, but the fear is limiting them. So find out what it is you want. And now this might be another topic for another video, using your subconscious, right? For your good. But imagine the life you want. Yeah, you don't want intrusive thoughts and anxiety and panic attacks, and depression, everything I've had, right? You don't want that. But what do you want? What do you want? Have you been able to imagine what you do want? Because what you imagine, you are throwing up onto this movie screen, so to speak. And this movie screen, which is like your mind screen, is influencing your subconscious to give you what you want. If you dwell on fear, if you dwell on guilt, if you dwell on shame, you're going to get this. You're going to get more of it. So what is it do you want? And when you get what you want, how do you feel? You go into detail, and this is going to prime your subconscious by feeding it these images and feelings to open up a whole realm of possibility for your life. And I've experienced this. I am currently experiencing this. A whole new realm of possibility for your life that you never knew existed because you couldn't access it. Your subconscious, that hidden part of the iceberg, right, is responsible for it. But this is how you access it, through your imagination, taking back this part of your mind, your ability to create, imagine, and man, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But if you clicked on this video, you're in the first stage, which is getting into these. I shouldn't say the first stage. They're all kind of welded together. um, but you're at least in the stage where identifying, you're a ruminating, overthinking most of the time. Like that you need to figure out when you're doing that, what is the fear? What fear is going to happen if it's this need inside of you to think and to figure out and do all this stuff. What am I trying to avoid? Okay. That's your fear. So there's no need to try to overthink or ruminate anymore. You know what the issue is. You know what the problem is. And that is, how can I do that thing? Okay. Again, not about the OCD Puro fears. We're talking about the basic core fears. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this because, man, I love talking about it. I love expressing it to you. So please hit me up with comments. I will respond. If you have questions, rebuttals, your own experience, let me have it in the comments. Please subscribe for more videos, and peace out.